This is the week of fireworks. Will it be up or down? Let us investigate. Something is terribly wrong with the economy, but nobody is willing to look into it, which is what we're going to be doing in today's video. By the way, any minute now, the markets could fall. Okay? It's like the house of cards, about to crumble apart. We're going to be talking about my argument on why I believe this could be the week that finally triggers the markets to make a move instead of us just consolidating forever, which we have been doing. First things first, lots of news, lots of developments coming out happening to the economy. From Newswire, U.S. layoffs are on track to exceed great financial crisis levels. Odds of a U.S. Recession by the end of 2026, there's about a 33% chance that poly market is predicting here. Okay, and people are betting. So that's quite large, isn't it? Right, above 30%, but probably in the next few months it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, guys. And but yeah, on track, US layoffs on track to exceed great financial crisis levels. Right, it's bigger than the great financial crisis that happened. Okay, when this thing finally implodes. Almost never in the history of the US economy has consumer sentiment been this depressed. Why? We got the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index. Current conditions are the worst since the 1930s. We're talking about the Great Depression. We're talking about the comparison of the Great Depression to today. Right? That's how bad things are at, guys. And everyone believes it's fine. Right? There can't be a crash. There definitely will be. It could start at any minute. That's the question nobody really knows, right? And that's what people want to figure out. Look where we're at right now compared to the Great Financial Crisis, 2008, 1980s double dip recession, the worst, right? Between the other two, guys. Yeah. So the sentiment of the people aren't too great after all, guys. Right? Now, this is how we know things are getting really bad, because breaking, the U.S. Labor Department announces it has canceled the October PPI inflation report. Remember, canceling the report doesn't cancel the inflation, right? No matter what type of manipulation they do bring about, guys, it does not matter. It's happening. It's happening, right? It's flying under the radar. They could manipulate the data or the timing of the announcement, right? But either or, guys, something will get triggered here to make something fall. It is what I believe. For those keeping track at home, Trump has canceled the release of the jobs reports, GDP reports, and inflation reports. I'm sure everything's fine, right? So if they're canceling reports, guys, or manipulating the data, right, delaying reports, all this stuff, ask yourself, is it truly fine? No. Right? No. Which is why I'm going to be explaining why I believe the markets are going to dump here any minute now. Right? Nothing seems fine, guys. But there's a decoupling that has happened. How is the economy doing so bad? Right? When we look at the numbers and the metrics, but the stock market is doing amazingly well. Literally at new all-time highs like never before. Right? Like, what is this? All of these stocks and indexes. Like, what? We're at new all-time highs, if not at all-time highs, right? There's a decoupling. It seems like the stocks don't care at all, right? They're like, it doesn't matter what happens with the economy. We're just going to keep going higher and higher and higher, though at some point the music will stop, right? It's only a matter of time. The question is, can you predict it? Okay? Fed is pumping money into the banking system. Make sure to own assets. Why? Because there's some type of liquidity issue happening with banks, right? Japan yields are already skyrocketing. Actually, every yield in the world, guys, right? American bond yields, Japanese, in EU, they got their own over there, guys. What's happening? Right? So this is definitely a warning to come, guys. Which is why let us transition into the Federal Reserve meeting this Wednesday. And what's going to happen, because that will determine what's going to happen with the markets this week and in the coming weeks. December 19th is Japanese Bank of Japan decision on either cut rates, hold them steady, or hike. Okay, December 10th and the 19th are very important. From Grant Cardone, 50 basis rate cuts is coming. Told you. Right, so this person is predicting a 50 basis rate cut. You know, if this were to happen, by the way, that's a true white swan event, because nobody or not too many people are expecting a 50 basis point rate cut. Probably like 1%. If I were the Fed, I'm cutting hundreds. I'm cutting minimum 100. Reason being is because they're delayed. They're behind. They're behind whatever's happening, right? Just because when you look at the economy, something is about to break. But that's what has always happened to the Federal Reserve, right? They're always behind things, and then when the thing does implode, then they immediately cut rates in an emergency. Bullish, 11 out of 12 FOMC members expect a 50 basis point rate cut in 2 days. I don't know where he got this info from. I don't think this is true. If this were to happen again, explosion towards the upside. Though this is what the people believe. Fed decision in December. There is now a 94% chance that the Fed will cut interest rates on Wednesday, right? Now it may not be 50 basis point rate cut. Sure seems like there will be a 25 basis point rate cut right here, guys. 87%. Okay, the market believes the Fed will cut. Question is it already priced in? Most likely, guys, right? Which is why I think or at least not cryptos, but the stocks, right? Stocks have been pumping. Now let me so which means insiders are front running the rate cuts. So when this does happen, right, come into fruition, the markets will then sell, because you usually buy the rumor and then you sell the news. So that's what we're going to be investigating in today's video, on what I think will happen in the coming days, right? Looking at the charts. Not even looking at anything else. When you look at the charts, it usually predicts the future, right? And with black swans, white swans, no matter the case. So, what do we have here, guys? The next day in 16 hours. Very important day. Okay, the Fed will most likely cut, as the market believes so. Will we pump or dump or stay neutral and go sideways forever? Let's go to this NASDAQ chart. Now, why are we talking about the stock market? Well, because cryptos right now are kind of weird. Okay, the price action of cryptos are extremely weird because look at what has been happening to Bitcoin and then XRP right here, right? Basically going sideways. Though the stock market, NASDAQ, decoupling, right, has been decoupled for weeks now. Which stocks have been going up to its previous all-time high, right? If not creating new highs. So this is how we could figure out what's about to happen, guys. This Wednesday, by going on the daily chart, right, the daily time frame, looking at the RSI, right. This is basically foreshadowing that I think a dump will occur, guys. And finally, if it happens, it's better because it means the bandage will be ripped off instead of them just delaying it for a few more months. It's better to just get things done and over with, and this is the best outcome before we V-shape recovery out of the dump. Looking at the RSI for the NASDAQ, what do we notice here? It created some type of V-shaped rate, but the RSI, when you look at the RSI, it's what? It's curving. It's starting to curve, right? It hasn't been confirmed. It gets confirmed when we go below this yellow line on the RSI. That's when a deep dump happens, right? Look at this. Each time we have gone below this yellow yellow line on the RSI, right, cross below it, look at all these dumps, right? Bigger dumps, shall we say, has occurred, right? And every time it has recovered, because that's what Donald Trump wants, right? And cryptos haven't really been following. But the reason why cryptos haven't been following stocks is because when it's truly time, cryptos are going to go vertically upwards, right? Stocks will not do that. So here's the thing. Right now, when we look at the RSI, it's starting to curve down. Okay, that's a bad sign, right? We're at the point, unless this goes for another high, which I don't think it will do, right? Maybe if there's like a white swan event, guys. Though every time we have recovered, right, created some type of V-shaped recovery like this, right, it has always created another high. Look at this, always, right? Always created another high there, guys. Every time we have V-shaped recovery out. Okay? And same here. Is it going to create a new high, or will the RSI stop this move from going higher and then it's coming lower? What I want to see for the Nasdaq and the stocks is this week, I want stocks to dump below this level for a liquidity grab, and for the RSI to go like this, below the yellow moving average, right, which confirms a bigger dump, which we just looked at on Wednesday. I want this to all happen, but the RSI above this pivot, which is what? A bullish divergence. Then from here, it's probably going to create a new high while cryptos are flying crazy in the weeks to come. If and only if we did dump to a new low, let's say we went to like 9% or something, 8%, that's a huge dump for cryptos, because Bitcoin is probably going to 2x that, go like minus 20%, and XRP will probably 3x that, go like minus 30%. Okay, and that's what we're waiting for, guys, so it could just complete the dump. Okay, so that's what I'm basically watching out for this Wednesday, right? And so they just get it over with, guys. When you look at the economy, it is saying something bad is coming, right? So everything's aligning beautifully. It's just that somehow, some way, stocks are extremely strong right now, and I don't think it will be. I think it's on the verge. It's about to happen any minute now. Why? We got huge events this week. September JOLTS job opening data coming out Tuesday, tomorrow. December Federal Reserve interest rate decision Wednesday. Federal Reserve speaks on Wednesday. Initial jobless claims Thursday. Okay. So this is the week that I think will create some type of fireworks, and it's probably towards the downside. Let's see what happens, guys, but I'll just get ready. And I hope it does happen so things can start moving faster now. Not financial advice. Let us prepare. What is this? So face amazingness. See ya.